Good evening, YouTube. We're here again with another tutorial using the Todo machine. And as you can see, I have my machine right here. And tonight we're going to do some embossing. And we're also going to do, if I can get to it, we'll do some letterpress. Because to me, letterpressing is the same as embossing with or without ink. So let's get started. We have our book, we have our machine, and we also have all of our plates. So for embossing, according to our book, we need our B and C plates. So this is our B, and our C plate is actually very pliable. It kind of seems like it's silicone to me. I'm not sure if that's what it is or not. But according to our book, to do embossing, that's what we need. We need C and B. Now, I also think we can use A and B if we're using an embossing folder. But we're going to go according to what the book says. Okay, so what we're going to start with is we're going to start with our B plate down. And we're just going to start with this Doris die right here. And this one is called Shamrocks. So we're going to stick a piece of paper inside the embossing folder. Lay it down, and we're going to put our C plate on top. Now, according to our book, it says we should be at between a 5 and an 8. And you all know I like to start at the highest setting, which is an 8, and work my way down. So we're going to start at an 8. And we're going to roll it over. Now, you know our C plate, like I told you, is like a squishy plate. Just like our embossing mat, the silicone mat that we use with our Big Shot and our Cuttlebug and things of that nature. Okay, so let's see what we get on an 8. Actually, on an 8, it embossed very well. Because the squishy plate gets into all the places. Now right here, it looks a little bit less imprinted than up here. Okay, so I like that one. And then we're going to do, the next one we're going to do is a Sizzix embossing folder. And the reason I'm doing different ones is because some embossing folders are a lot thicker than others. So we're going to leave our B plate down. We're going to put our embossing folder with our paper in the middle. And we're going to put our C plate on top. And this time I'm going to take it down a little bit to a 7. And see, does that give us a better impression than the 8 did. Okay, so it's definitely tighter, but we're okay. Now I have seen online where some people said that their embossing folders actually cracked, and I'm not really sure why theirs cracked. I haven't had that problem, thank God. So let's see what we get with our Sizzix embossing folder. Now 7 impressed very, very well. If you guys can see that. Both sides look very, very pretty. So I think I like the number 7 setting with the Sizzix embossing folder. Okay, so next we're going to do a We Are Memory Keepers embossing folder. Now we all know that the We Are Memory Keepers embossing folder is a 6x6 embossing folder. So we have a wider piece of paper, and we're actually going to put it in this way this time. Okay, and I'm going to try and leave it at a 7. Now I may have to adjust it because this embossing folder is thicker than the others, but we'll see. We're going to leave it at a 7 and see what we get. See, it's actually pushing it, so a 7 will not work. Okay, so we're going to take this one back up to an 8 and see what we get. Now here's an 8, and even the 8 is working. It's a bit tight, but it's working. Okay, I probably could have taken it up to a 9, but we're going to see what we get. And there's our, we are memory keepers at a number 8. And I could probably take it up to an 8.5 or a 9. But an 8 works perfectly fine according to what the book said. Okay? Then we're going to try this Spellbinders Embossability. Now this one is really, really thick because it's actually double-sided. You could either use this side or this side. So with this one, I really believe I'm going to have to take it up higher than that because this is thicker than the We Are Memory Keepers. So I'm actually going to take this one, and we're going to take this one up to a 9. Okay, and let's see if it even gets across it. Okay, so here we go. 9 is pretty doggone tight. But because our C mat is squishy, it doesn't tear it up. So let's see. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Hopefully you guys can see how well it embossed everywhere. No light spots anywhere. Beautiful embossing. And there's our deboss side. So that's with the Spellbinders Embossabilities. Okay, so I think we went through those rather quickly. So what we're going to try, I do have some of my letter press plates here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to letter press with, I think I want to do this heart right here. No, we're going to do the butterflies. So this is what our letter press plate looks like. We're going to do these butterflies. Now let's see what the book says for letter pressing. So for a letter press stamp, we need plates C and A, and we're going to do between a 6 and an 8. Okay, so I will tell you guys, this is going to be my first time embossing with the letter press plates, and we're going to do some dry embossing. We're not going to do with ink just yet. I'm just going to do some dry embossing because that's what we're doing on this particular video. If I can get the plate, the A plate. Okay, so we have our A plate, and then it said we also need our C plate. Okay, which is our squishy plate again. And for this, I'm just going to use this right here, this paper. And actually, we're going to just cut us a piece of this paper because we don't really want to waste paper. So, here's our piece of paper. We're going to letter press. And it said between a 6 and an 8. I do believe that's what it said we needed to be at. So that's what we're going to turn it to. We're going to start at an 8 because we all know I like to start high and go down. So we're going to hold this in place. Okay, the 8 doesn't feel bad. Actually, the 8 feels pretty darn good. And let's see if our letter press plate actually embossed our paper. So, if you'll notice, it actually was very deep here in the center, and the sides are not as deep, but they're there. So you can actually emboss with letterpress plates. And I ordered these from Create and Craft, the same place that I got the machine from. So that is going to be all for our embossing tonight. And again, you can emboss all of the different brands of embossing folders. You just have to make sure that you use the right setting for the thickness of the embossing folder. And I didn't have any problems with my folders breaking or cracking. So please give this video a thumbs up if you like my video. Also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and we'll be back with another tutorial. Have a great night.